The early Fatal Fury games made sure to cement the spot of the Fatal Fury franchise among the important and famous series of the fighting game genre. After the success of Fatal Fury Special, SNK knew that they had to work on a new sequel. In 1994, SNK was ready to show the next installment of the Fatal Fury franchise, with a release stated for Q1 of 1995. SNK was promising brand new gameplay mechanics and unparalleled graphics for the new game. Unlike Fatal Fury 2 and Special, series creator Takashi Nishiyama will return to the producing helm of this new title, and this time he is joined by the Art of Fighting series director Hiroshi Matsumoto. While the developers had ambitious plans for this new sequel, an unexpected event took place that would directly affect the development of Fatal Fury 3, the Kobe earthquake. In January 1995, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit in the southern part of the Hyogo prefecture, resulting in the death of over 6,000 people and massive economic impact. Many companies were shut down in the neighboring cities, including Osaka. The event forced SNK to cut few planned features from Fatal Fury 3, which was due in only 2 months. On March 1995, SNK released its new highly expected sequel titled Garou Densetsu 3 Harukanaru Tatakai, which translates to Legend of the Hungry Wolf 3 The Distant Battle, worldwide known as Fatal Fury 3 Road to the Final Victory.
Fatal Fury 3 Road to the Final Victory.
It was clear that this was a different game than its predecessor. Dubbed as the next evolution of the series, Fatal Fury 3 used brand new sprites that were redrawn from scratch and graphics that looked more detailed and colorful. As it became almost a custom, SNK would advertise the new Fatal Fury 3 with some more over-the-top live-action ads specifically for the Neo Geo CD version.
Is that Terry Bogard?
That's great, Terry!
Hey, you want to step outside?
The characters of Fatal Fury 3 looked bigger and more buffed, and the stages were a sight to behold. Even the character select screen was an original take on the previous game. As for the sound, while the game's themes would not rival its predecessors, Fatal Fury 3 introduced voiceover acting on some cutscenes, which was new to the series.
よくも私の可愛い弟を絶対に許さんぞ生きてここから出られると思うなよ
The graphics were not the only thing that saw an overhaul with Fatal Fury 3, as the gameplay was heavily changed from the previous installment. While the game retains the format and controls of the previous chapters of the series, the two-plane battle stages have been revamped into a three-plane format known as the Oversway system. The player fights primarily in the middle plane, also known as the main plane, but can move or oversway into either of the background using LP and LK, or foreground by pressing LK and HP. When the player performs an attack in a sway plane known as an oversway attack, their character will return to the main plane automatically. Likewise, the player can attack an opponent who is in the sway plane with an anti-oversway attack. The player can also do a quick sway to avoid an attack, leaving the opponent vulnerable to a regular strike. Another innovation seen in Fatal Fury 3, and one that will end up becoming a staple for most SNK fighting games, is the ability to control the height of the character's jump. The game also introduced an air block mechanic where players can block an opponent's attack in mid-air. While Fatal Fury Special had an unannounced feature of cancelling some normal moves into others, Fatal Fury 3 was the first game of the series to officially introduce move cancels, known here as combination arts, allowing the player to cancel a specific series of regular attacks from one to the other. Besides special moves and the desperation moves which require a red life meter like the previous games in the series, Fatal Fury 3 gave each character a hidden ability, which is a stronger version of a super move. This hidden ability occurs once in every 1024 chances whenever the player inputs the command for the character's super special move. This hidden move can also be used by activating the game's hidden super mode before a match using a secret code. The player will then be able to use the hidden move when his character's life meter is flashing red. Unlike super special moves, a hidden ability can only be used once per round. Fatal Fury 3 also features a fighting level grading system when fighting against the computer. When the player completes a round, their performance is graded from E to S. The final opponents the player faces at the end of the single player mode is determined then by the player's average score. This unique feature introduced a bit of variety when facing against the CPU. And speaking of going against the CPU, the player has the choice between 4 characters as their first opponent: Joe, Mary, Bob, or Franco. After the first 4 opponents are defeated, the player will fight against Ryuji Yamazaki for a plot-based match in which the player must win only 1 round. The player will then proceed to fight against Mai, Andy, Honfu, Sokaku, and Giz in that specific order, before Yamazaki again for a full match. Depending on the grade average, the game will end against Yamazaki, or the player will fight against either or both of the Jin twins. As for the game's characters, SNK decided to revamp the roster by having half the selectable fighters as brand new ones. Coming back from the previous games are Terry Bogard, the game and series protagonist, Andy Bogard, their inseparable friend Joe Higashi, as well as the ever-popular Mai Shiranui, who proved to be a massive success for SNK and became an icon for fighting games. The last returning character for Fatal Fury is none other than Geese Howard, who is confirmed to be alive and in hiding thanks to the Fatal Fury 2 story. Joining these characters are 5 brand new fighters that will soon make their mark on the franchise. Lou Mary, a freelance secret agent and the second female fighter to join the series. Blue Mary lost both her boyfriend and her father in a mission few years back. She meets Terry and the two became good friends and developed a very strong bond. Hon Fu, a detective who is on a case concerning the mass illegal drug trade in Asia. He's always chasing criminals and shares his strong sense of justice with Kim Kapwan. Branko Bash, former super heavy kickboxing champion who was undefeated during his fighting career. He retired and now is an airplane mechanic. Sokako Mochizuki, the head of a temple and heir to the clan of Buddhist monks whom are an ancient rival to the Shiranui clan. Bob Wilson, a young Brazilian capoeira fighter and a very cheerful guy. He is the student of Richard Meyer from the first Fatal Fury game and works as a manager of the 2 Pau Pau Cafe nightclubs owned by Richard. The game also adds 3 new unplayable boss characters. First, the psychopathic Yuji Yamazaki, an ex-yakuza with a violent past and now a drug and arms dealer and an influential broker in Hong Kong. He has a rivalry with Hon Fu and was hired by the game's 2 other bosses to protect them and help them find the legendary Scrolls of Immortality. Jin Chonshu and Jin Chonrei, the official bosses of Fatal Fury 3. They are twin brothers that were orphaned at a young age and now have hired Yamazaki to do their bidding and find the ancient Scrolls of Immortality. The story of Fatal Fury 3 mainly revolves around the Jin brothers. Orphaned when they were just 6 years old, the twins were left to fend for themselves and work together to survive and live up to their family name, as descendants of the celebrated powerful general warriors Qin Wang Long and his brother, Qin Kong Long. After being left for dead due to a violent attack by bullies, the 2 boys were possessed by the spirits of their ancient ancestors, who used their bodies to look for the ancient Scrolls of Immortality. These scrolls would allow the 2 evil spirits to resurrect themselves in immortal bodies and take over the world. For that reason, they hired the Hong Kong mafia leader Yuji Yamazaki to find the scrolls, which they know are in South Town. Throughout the game, it is revealed that several other characters are also searching for the scrolls for different reasons. If the player did well throughout the course of their playtime, Chonrei appears and becomes extremely angry at the defeat of his younger brother, promising that the player character will not leave the place alive. Following the brothers' defeat, their ancestors' spirits departs from their bodies. In the end, it would be revealed that Geese was the one to gather all of the 3 scrolls, only to realize the prophecy of immortality was but a delusion, and ends up disposing of these useless artifacts himself. When it released, Fatal Fury 3 was met with mixed reviews. In Japan, Game Machine listed Fatal Fury Road to the Final Victory on their May 1st, 1995 issue as being the second most popular arcade game at the time. And according to Famitsu, the famed Japanese gaming publication, the AES version of Fatal Fury 3 sold over 34,800 copies in its first week on the Japanese market. In the West, reviews were also mixed, but mostly positive. The 4 reviewers of Electronic Gaming Monthly scored it as 7.6 out of 10. They had widely varied reactions to the game, and 2 of them remarked that it lacked the feel of a true Fatal Fury game. Fatal Fury 3 would also mark the first of the series to not receive many ports outside of the Neo Geo family. After the AES and MVS versions, the game received a Neo Geo CD port, taking advantage of the refined audio qualities of the system, as well as a Sega Saturn port.
Go!
The next release of Fatal Fury 3 would not happen until 1998, where the game would get a Microsoft Windows PC release. The game would of course get a release down the line, whether it's on the Fatal Fury Battle Archives compilation on the PlayStation 2 or the various re-releases on modern consoles through the Aka Neo Geo ports on many systems, such as PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and more. As for media adaptation, and similar to Fatal Fury Special, Fatal Fury 3 received no animated adaptation. In terms of mangas, there were noticeably fewer than the previous iterations, and these included another chapter of the famed nonsensical Bonbon Garo, focusing on alternate versions of the events of Fatal Fury 3. While a more faithful adaptation was also released. Drawn by mangaka Sekiguchi Shun, the single-volume manga stayed true to the story of the game. Immediately after release, and seeing the mixed reviews Fatal Fury 3 has got, SNK started planning the next chapter of the Fatal Fury series, and this time, they will decide to go back to the drawing board and work on what many would see as a fresh and bold soft reboot of the series, with the new Real Bout game. But that is a game that we will cover in our next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to check the previous videos where I talk about Fatal Fury 1, 2 and Special, and don't forget to like and subscribe. A big thanks to the channel's patrons for supporting the channel. You can become one and get early access as well as some exclusive goodies. Link is in the description below.